Let's first look at the Kenyan shilling, which weakened marginally to 83.7090 per dollar on Friday from 83.6080 on Thursday on account of greenback demand. Crossing over to the NSE 20 share index, it broke at 7-day winning streak on the back of Kenya Power, which lost 4.3%, making the main share index to shed 0.7 points to 4,888.98 points. The all share index, on the other hand, was up was up 2% to stand at 122.52 points. Joining us today is Einstein Kihanda, the Chief Investment Officer of ICEA Lion Asset Management. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, looking at Kenya Power, it shed 4.3% to about 17.95 shillings.
Yes.
And you suspect that this could continue into the week. Do you see this, really being one of the main issues that we're going to deal with this week?
Yes, I think it's important to look at the background, and that this is not the first time that Kenya Power has tried to increase the tariff. Sometime in 2011, that was also one of the proposals that had been made. But at the time, the concern was that the inflationary impact of other developments in the country would have significantly affected the ability of consumers to, in terms of their purchasing power. So that was then postponed. Now, this time round, the challenge has to do with, partly is political in the sense that with the new government that has come in place, and one of the key pillars is to try and reduce the cost of doing business. There's a concern that raising tariffs would have a negative impact in terms of the cost of doing business, particularly for the manufacturing sector, and that would also have an inflationary impact. Now, the concern about the expected performance, I think at the time when Kenya Power published the proposed tariff review, I think they also published a projected financial performance in terms of the profitability if the tariff review was not implemented. So the question then is, to what extent is it that this tariff review postponement is likely to go on for a while, and that will then determine whether or not this expected slide is likely to continue. But I would say for now, the fact that is on hold means that there's a likelihood that the profitability of the company is likely to be affected. So
they would need also then to change their forecast?
Yes, they would have to change their forecast, and I think they would also have to look for probably alternative financing mechanisms, because part of the reason for the tariff review is because they need to invest in infrastructure, particularly as being the sole power distributor. There's a lot, and also with growing electricity demand, there is a need for a lot of expenditure to be incurred in terms of expanding the distribution network. And all this requires financing. So part of the reason for raising the tariffs was to be able to acquire or get the necessary financing that will enable them to invest those funds. So they will probably have to look for alternative financing mechanism.
And they've issued a bond previously. Do you see them go in that direction this time round?
That is likely to. Maybe that is one of the mechanisms that they would have to look at. The other advantage also in the sense is that Kenya Power also has financing from bilateral institutions like the IFC and other the European Investment Bank and the Development Bank and the World Bank. So all these are also mechanisms that are likely to be considered in order to try and enhance the ability to raise the required financing.
And of course, tomorrow we have the monthly fuel price review, and that is something that we'll also be looking forward to, because it will have an impact on Kenya Power. Yes,
because that is also part of the pass-through costs that the consumer has to bear in terms of whether or not Kenya Power recovers those costs from the consumer. The other factor also is the foreign exchange adjustment cost, because again, the performance and the movement of the shilling against the dollar also has an impact. But for now, we've seen some level of stability in the Kenya shilling, so that may not be a significant factor. Yes.
Okay, maybe crossing over now to the winners. We saw Safaricom hit 7.2 shillings on Friday, which is another high, setting a new high. We have the full year performance coming in tomorrow. There's a lot of sentiment that the performance is likely to be, something good. For you, how do you expect the stock to perform today?
I think I would look at maybe the underlying financial performance. Looking at the half-year results, of Safaricom were fairly strong, and I think that is partly accounts for why we've also seen this momentum, because the fact that they've been able to weather the storm in terms of pricing that happened about 3 or so years ago has given a lot of confidence to investors that the company is able to report sterling results. So I think in terms of share price performance, yes, there's a likelihood that a lot of investors are looking ahead of the financial year results announcement tomorrow morning, and that is likely to be a major factor in terms of driving how the share price performs today.
Looking at capital expenditure for Safaricom, we've had them before saying that they're going to invest 10 billion shillings for the next 5 years. That means 2 billion per year with regards to fiber optic and infrastructure. And now we have new entrants, looking into this market, looking at the data market. Are we likely to see their capex, go higher in tandem with the competition?
I think in terms of the specifics, maybe the management will be in a better position. But I think in terms of if you look at the advantage that Safaricom has above the competition, is obviously the very high level of subscribers that they have, which is unmatched compared to any other player in the market. So that provides them with a significant advantage in terms of accessibility, and also in terms of the ability to access all these clients. And of course, the company has also invested significantly in the data segment of the market, and therefore that I think presents also with a significant advantage. Maybe in terms of the corporate side of the business, that may be where the challenge will be. But I think we'll also look at if you look at the announcement of the results tomorrow, will probably give an indication of how well they're doing. But I think so far, looking at the amount of investment that they've undertaken, and also the fact that they've tried to present various promotions and incentives to their customers
a lot of loyalty programs.
To get their customers to continue to access the internet through their network. I think they still present a fairly strong challenge.